follow me. You can sit right here. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
So I'm just going to go over a few legal matters and then we'll proceed to the session, if that's okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. So just to talk a little bit about the informed consent, it describes issues of confidentiality between the counselor and the client. All meetings are, of course, confidential unless in certain situations where the therapist is legally obliged to disclose the information, such as child abuse, elderly abuse, abuse of independent adults, or if the client possesses a danger to herself or others around her. So do you understand the informed consent? Do you have any questions about it?
No, it's good. It's clear. It's good.
Good? Okay, so I'm just going to ask you to sign this consent and then we'll proceed.
Thank you.
Perfect. So, okay, talk to me a little bit about you. What's going on?
So I'm a student, I guess you could start with that, and I just lately I've been feeling like really like overwhelmed.
Okay.
I'm like trying to focus on one thing at a time. I'm really trying to do that, but like I just feel like there's so much. Like I'm trying to focus on one class, and then I think about another class, and then there's work. There's just so much on my plate that I just feel. I just feel overwhelmed, and anyways, I've been trying to like just focus. Like I said, focus one thing at a time, and then one of my classmates came up to me and asked like, "Is everything okay? Because you seem off." And like to me, that really like it like made things like really like real for me. I didn't think I was showing that it wasn't like okay. So the fact that someone else could see it, it kind of like stressed me even more. It made me like more anxious about it because like it just makes it more real, you know, when someone else could like see it.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that you didn't realize your feeling of being overwhelmed until someone actually brought it to your attention.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel that someone had to really be the one to make you feel like your emotions were out of place?
I feel like I feel like exactly. I feel like I'm not in touch with my emotions.
Okay.
And I feel the fact that someone else was the one that like pointed that out to me, kind of like everything that I was suppressing kind of came out, and it just I feel overwhelmed because there's just so much that's like going on, you know. Yeah.
So I get the feeling that from what you're saying, you have a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And you're very stressed with handling school and work, and a lot of your classes are making you feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
How does being overwhelmed make you feel?
It makes me feel like my emotions are everywhere, so I feel like I'm like emotionally unstable, you know?
Yeah. So do you feel like, is there a way that you can be more in touch with your emotions and feeling less overwhelmed?
Like I feel like I've tried many like methods. So like I try to put things in like I'm very organized. I'm an organized person. I just feel like I don't know, like I just
It's
need
just
to-
not working for you right now. So you're obviously very stressed and you're taking on a lot right now, which is very normal. And I think that you just have to get in touch with these emotions, and we need to really specify and figure out what these emotions are. That way we can really work on them together.
Yeah, I think I like that.
So thank you so much for really being open with me. And I want you to know that this is a very safe place, and you can talk to me about anything and be very raw, and we'll get through whatever it is to get through together.
Thank you.
Hi, Karen. Hi. Come with me. Are you okay? Your shoulders look a little bit tense today.
Yeah, they are actually a bit tense today.
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I think it's a buildup of something.
Are you feeling
I just-
pain?
No, they're just very like tense.
Okay.
It could be built up of. I think it's a built up of. I guess how I've been feeling. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So just a thought, but if we were to say that your shoulders were to describe a person, a personality, who would that person be? Just like a weird thought.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I'm not sure. I think I would say that my shoulders would be like an angry person.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be someone you'd want to like hang out with, kind of thing. Yeah.
So do you feel, can you elaborate a little bit more on that anger?
I just feel because it's like I don't know. I think it's because like there's so much like buildup that it's heavy. It's not fun. So it's like that's why I was saying I don't think they'd be a fun person to be around with because it's so like it's heavy. There's a buildup of things.
Interesting. So you actually just mentioned that you think it's a buildup of something.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that is?
I think it would be like just pressures that I've been feeling lately, especially like recently. Like it just kind of all fell on me, and I feel like there's always been pressures from my family, my parents, like my teachers, work.
I'm sure that can be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah. It is.
So you feel like that's the tension that you're feeling. So all your emotions that you're feeling are coming into your body.
Yeah.
You're feeling it physically.
Yeah, that's like exactly it. Like I've never felt this like this. It's very. I feel stiff. I feel heavy. It's not even just my shoulders anymore. It's like I've been feeling it like in my heart.
I see that your posture, you're more tense today.
Yeah.
So your emotions are a little bit more tense, would you say?
Yeah. I think it would be tense. Yeah. 100%. And like it's funny that you pointed out my shoulders because like I've been feeling it other places too. Like I said, like my heart feels like it feels like heavy too. So it's a buildup of everything. I think that's what it is.
Okay, so you really think that the buildup is coming from the stress from school, from work, from family, from teachers?
The pressures, I would say, yeah.
Okay, interesting. What do you think these body sensations are telling you?
I think they're telling me to stop and just breathe and just, I don't have to be the best,
I definitely think you're right. I think that you don't have to be the best.
I feel like, I don't know, there's just so much like pressure from like my parents and like school and everything is just, it's overwhelming. And I guess I know I'm hard on myself, but it's just, yeah.
I think that you have created your own path and you have to succeed in your own way. And you have to be focused on being the best at your own self and what being the best means to you, not to anybody else.
But that's like I never thought of it that way, but I find like I don't know, I always tend to go towards like pleasing people of like authority, and I feel like I can make it on my own. And yeah,
it's very interesting. I feel like I'm hearing that you have little trust in yourself. Am I right in making this interpretation?
Like, yeah, I feel like I mean, I feel like I feel like, how do I explain this? Like, I feel like it'll just kind of all come down and like turn into chaos,
So you feel like you depend on other people a lot more than you depend on yourself?
I feel like I'm just hard on myself because I'm trying to please people and I'm trying to make everyone happy, and it's overwhelming and it's hitting me, you know?
Do you feel like in making everyone else happy, are you making yourself happy?
Like sometimes that's like, I guess that comes with pleasing with people. You put others before yourself, and you kind of like just put things on pause for yourself and just focus on others,
Yeah.
you know? And when you kind of like take a step back and you try to focus on yourself, you feel like it's like, whoa, like that's so much, you know?
So going back to your body sensations, do you feel like this is all stemming from the pressures of being the best and the pressures of making everyone else around you happy, and maybe feeling that all that pressure is really within your shoulders and you're just about to, you said that you felt like you were feeling very overwhelmed and it was about to explode.
Yeah, exactly. I really feel like it's gonna, exactly, that's how I feel. I feel like, yeah, it's pressure from everyone, and it's also like my body also telling me, like, hi, like, pay attention to me too, pay attention to yourself, you know? And it's like, you can't leave me on pause, like, it's yourself, you know? I think, yeah.
Interesting.
I just feel like if I don't do what's expected of me, like, just like bad things are gonna happen, like, it just, the outcome is not gonna be like the best.
Interesting. Can you give examples?
Like, if I don't get a specific grade, I'll get pressure from my parents, but I also get pressure to the fact that I'm not getting into the masters that I'm supposed to be getting into, you know, for this. So like, it's just there's just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like this pressure from all these angles, and it just, if the outcome doesn't come out the way it is, it's bad, you know?
It sounds like a lot of pressure, but do you know for sure that these bad things can happen?
Like, no, I'm not like 100% sure, like for sure, but I just like, I know it's like not the best way of looking at it, it's not the most logical way of looking at it, but if you think about it, it's only 50-50, it's either it's gonna work out or it won't, you know?
So I'm really hearing that you understand the rationale behind the way you're thinking, and that you can notice that it can be irrational. Do you think that you can change that thought process?
Like, I guess.
You don't seem too sure.
Like, I could try.
So I just want to mention to you, the language that you're using, it reflects how you think, and in turn shapes the way that you think, and it's kind of like a loop. So I hear you're kind of downplaying your own power in yourself by using language like I guess.
Yeah.
Have you thought about that?
Like, no, like I didn't, and like now that you mention it, I see it more clearly, but I didn't, like, I'll pay attention to like more on the way I say things, because like you said, yeah, if like I have to believe in what I say, right? If it's, yeah.
I think that you should believe in yourself more than anything else.
Yeah.
And by using I guess, I feel like you're downplaying your own power. How do you feel about that?
I agree. I definitely agree. I guess it comes with like confidence also, right? So I definitely have to work on that.
Well, not many people really pay attention to the language that they're using for themselves, so that's okay. So yeah, well, just to go now to talk about kind of like what we spoke about at the beginning of the session, how are your shoulders feeling now that you've expressed yourself a little bit? How do you feel?
Like, I feel like a lot better. I think definitely talking about it and talking about like the roots of it kind of helped. And yeah, it's interesting to like, I could reflect on this after and kind of know what the root is and kind of
Mhm.
like work on that. So that's really cool.
I think that that's a really good way to think about it, and it's good that you're really acknowledging that your body has a lot to do with your emotions as well.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to work on, and we'll do that. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Come in. How are you feeling today?
Okay.
You seem a little droopy. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just had like a really weird dream and it's been like weighing me down, I guess.
Interesting. Can I ask you to elaborate a little bit on the dream?
Sure. So like, so basically, I was in the passenger seat. It was with my parents and my mom and my dad, and we're driving, like I think I would say like in the prairies. And they're arguing, and my best friend's next to me. She's smiling, kind of like reassuring me, and then I have like my belt, like my seatbelt, but like it's like squishing me like very tightly to the point where like my heart would hurt, and like I just felt very uncomfortable. And I would try to speak, but nothing would come out.
Interesting. So, let's start with your parents.
Yeah.
Okay? We're gonna take the dream a little step by step. What were your parents saying in the dream? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
They were just arguing about directions, saying that you should have turned right, you should have turned left, and all this like just fighting like they used to like when I was younger. So yeah.
So if you were to right now put yourself in your mom's shoes in that dream, if it was happening right now, what would your mom be saying?
I think she would just be saying like, I knew like I should have known better. Like I you should have turned right. Just kind of, I guess like I don't know. I guess she would be like not blaming herself for like how like it happened, but I don't know, because they're arguing and my dad's telling her like, why didn't you tell me before? And then she felt bad a bit, but was a bit defensive. So it was just, I think like she felt bad, a part of her, because she didn't like exceed like expectations that like were like on her, I guess.
So I'm hearing a lot of guilt on her end.
Yeah.
How would she think your father would be responding if it was happening right now, if the dream was happening right now? How would your father respond? Is he angry? Is he sad?
He would be angry, I guess, just like putting like pressure on my mom to like tell her the right directions, you know, like he's blaming her that he didn't take the right route because it was her fault, like, you know. I don't know, like saying it out loud makes me like kind of reflect on like my relationship with them also, right? Like I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like, for example, my relationship with my dad, like if I don't exceed the expectations he expects from me, I'll feel like shitty about myself, you know, and I'll expect him to be angry, you know. So yeah, and it was interesting, and then like you see like, yeah, it was just like they're just arguing and I'm trying to speak but I can't say anything. So
now that we've spoken a little bit about your parents and we'll get back to them, let's talk a little bit about your friend and what she's doing.
Yeah. She's just smiling and she's like, it's like they're completely in different cars. Like she doesn't see or hear what I'm seeing.
But she's with you in the car.
But she's with me in the car, but she's not, she doesn't see what I see. She's just like in this happy land, you know?
And how does that make you feel?
Like when I look at my parents and I see this like toxicity, and then I look at my friend and then it's like she's smiling and like it's everything is good, you know, and in that moment it feels like reassurance, you know, like it felt like everything was good for like a second because she was there, and like it was just like, you know, like I was like detached, like she was able to like kind of detach me from that also, you know.
It's very interesting. I'm hearing that maybe she's a very important person to you that makes you feel safe.
Yeah, yes, I think 100%, like she's the person that I would speak to if I don't, like, it's hard for me to like seeing emotions and things and how I feel and all this, but if I ever do want to speak, like if I ever like feel like I am how do I say this, if I'm able to like feel that I'm ready to say my emotions, she would be the one that would hear. Yeah.
Very interesting. So coming back to the belt, you said that you felt like you couldn't breathe, like you couldn't speak, like you were trying to talk but nothing was coming out.
Yeah.
So if we were to think about that belt, what do you think that belt really means in that moment? How does that make you feel that you're trapped?
I was just like frustrated that I wasn't able to speak and that something was holding me down. I think that's what what I felt the most. I'm not really sure what it means. I just know that that's what it felt. Yeah.
So you said that you were trying to speak. If you were in that moment and your parents were arguing, what would you want to say? If the belt wasn't there,
Yeah.
and you could speak, what would you want to say?
That's a good question. I think I would just say stop. Stop everything. Just stop the car. Just stop. And just stop.
So do you feel like, would you get out or would you stay in the car?
I think I would get out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So can you talk to me a little bit more about your best friend and your dream? Her qualities, a little bit about her.
So I feel like when I think of her, I think of someone that's very like free. Like she does what she wants, and she, you know, like she's very like, she doesn't pay attention to pressures, I guess. If she does something, she does it with all her heart, but if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Like it's just wasn't meant to be, you know? Yeah, I think that's how I would describe her.
So how do you feel that your best friend, who feels free and less pressure and a sense of like that freedom, is in the same car as your parents who make you feel trapped since they're arguing? So
yeah, how
does that make you feel?
Like it's like they're like completely different. Like they're just like, it's like people are arguing and then there's like my parents are arguing and then you see my best friend and she's just smiling. They're like, it's like content and this positivity. It's like they're completely, oh my god, they're completely different spectrums. Yeah.
So you see those different ideas of one person representing one thing and another person representing another. They're completely different. Yeah, they're completely different spectrums. So what if each of those people represent? So your best friend represents what kind of emotion would you say?
I think it would be some like emotions, more like qualities that I would like to like that I would like to, and that I should kind of attain for myself. You know, like I should be more free. Like I should. I have to like feel like, you know, if I did something, if that exam didn't go well, it's okay, you know, like I'm human, I make mistakes, you know, like Like I should feel like that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your parents?
There's just, I don't know, can you repeat the question?
So how are your parents making you feel if that was like an emotion that you were feeling? Could it be anger?
No, I think it was just pressure again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So would you say that after your best friend being there in that car, because you said that she makes you feel safe, can you elaborate on that?
I don't know, like she just makes me feel safe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that you're making these connections between the different sides of the spectrum. So really focusing on the fact that there's the happiness and
Yeah.
that there's that toxic behavior.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy you're acknowledging those different connections.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So in order to be more like your friend, what would you say you need to work on?
Yeah, like I said, I think I would want to, like, I have to improve on just being present, and just like if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like I have to work on that, and I should work on like, yeah, like it's just like I'm human, like I make mistakes, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm hearing you say that you have to. Those kind of sound like commands. Do you feel like maybe you could change the have to's into I'd like to, I want to? Do you see how that could be a factor?
I mean, like
because that's putting a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
You're making commands.
Yeah, and also like throughout the sessions, like you make me aware that language is important.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely need to work on that. Like working, instead of saying I have to, saying like, I mean, I want to change those things, you know, like I want to do that for myself. So I want to feel like it's okay, like you make mistakes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, it's really good, Karen. That's really good work, and it's good that you're on the right track.
Yeah.